Well, greetings, LEGO enjoyers. It seems that someone decided to use one of the work tables and one of the LEGO tables for slot cars. So I'm going to do this Let's Build video on the old LEGO desk again. So yeah, this is also going to be a video edited, well, mostly on my Power Mac G5. And because that computer is different from my M1, it's going to be segmented. So yeah, I'm going to do one video, well, one short clip, and then edit together all the clips to upload on YouTube later. So let's go! Okay, let's go. Go. Yeah, the top flap of this box opens, by the way. Did not know that. Yeah, so let's go. It's LEGO Gameboy. Go. Here are the instructions. Yeah, I'm not used to open it like this. And the stickers, if I can get them. There we go. There's only 2 stickers in this set. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, look at there. It's so cool. Yeah, I kind of wish I would put a Raspberry Pi motherboard in this, but it's mainly meant for display. Although some people have done it. It's not a functional Game Boy, but it is what it is. Yeah, and got a bunch of fluff pieces. And there we go. We're on to the instructions. On. Stay on there. It's the only freaking piece of paper. Here we go. Oops. I don't want to risk damage to my instruction booklets. Okay, here we go. Let's rock. Here we go. Brick separator. This shouldn't take long at all. I mean, this makes a lot of sense as a LEGO set, because it's basically, well, the Game Boy is basically shaped like a brick. I have an original Game Boy, although the contrast is a bit iffy, but that's the side effect of older handheld systems. You take what you get, unless you buy a replacement screen for it. So, yeah. If they were to make this into a functioning unit, they would have to spend a lot of money on components like circuit boards and electronics. And I know that electronic toys are very expensive. Oh, there's the other pieces. Yeah. There. Just get them out. Yeah, these are basically the lenticular pieces. Yeah, it depends on which game you want it to play. It's real cool, man. Real cool. Yeah, and slot it in there just like that. Even though the instructions say that certain games have to be displayed a certain way. But there's nothing stopping you from doing it however you please. Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty. There we go. All these pieces to put on. Yeah, I bet you that this would be Lonely Goomba's favorite Game Boy set because he does nothing but play a Game Boy or the DS. Yeah, if you've seen the Lonely Goomba videos, you'll know that he plays the DS. I'm guessing because that his videos are parody, that he was able to avoid a lawsuit with the big N. Yeah, I like the big N. But they can be a bit too high standard sometimes. see. Yeah, we might have skipped a step. Okay, it's supposed to go there. All right. This is okay. So we know for a fact that I put the piece on too short. Okay, now we got the pieces situated correctly. And thankfully, no stickers. Alrighty. This time with blank backing plates. That'll work. That. There it is. Alright, this is basically one of the cartridges. Ooh, nice. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Printed on pieces. Both of those cartridge stickers should have been printed on, if you ask me. Alrighty, so that's the cartridge. The Super Mario cartridge. It looks just like a Super Mario Land cartridge because I have one. Anyways. It's pretty cool displayed. We got more to build, so stay tuned. Here we go! Yeah. Got the first clip done. That's ready. Now I gotta do the second clip. Here we go. Yeah, it shouldn't be a lot of pieces. Yeah, only 2 stickers, and the thing itself is meant to be a display piece. Unless you intend on making it into a functional Game Boy. Yeah, this is basically a brick. Yeah, it's shaped like a brick. How could you mess this up in Lego form? Okay, here we go. So far, so good. Yeah, it's screen. Yeah. And there's a lot of pieces like that. Game. Bum. Bottom. Here we go. Alrighty. Yeah. You can make this into a working unit with a Raspberry Pi motherboard, but that is if you want to risk spending a lot more money and getting a custom PCB for it. Yeah, PCBs and electronics are not cheap. Okay, we go. And spit. Love to see a Lego Super Nintendo or a Lego Nintendo 64 next. The SNES was basically the console that succeeded the NES and it's believed to be a worthy successor, so to speak. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 1989. Sega launched the Mega Drive in the United States of America, or North America, and called it the Genesis. And Nintendo's response to Genesis is the Super Nintendo. Yeah, it was originally known as the Super Famicom, but it came out in '91 as the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, the SNES. Would be Nintendo's answer to the 16-bit age. Yeah, so games were originally 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, and then 64-bit. And I don't think we cared that much about bits nowadays. It's mainly about frame rate and how fast the game can run, rather than graphics. Because games have advanced to the point that graphics, yeah, having better graphics is usually unrealistic. Because graphics are as good as they got. Yeah, like games would have awesome graphics but would skimp out on gameplay. Which is the most important thing about games. Not graphics, gameplay. Yeah. Love to see a Lego Sega Game Gear. Okay. Yeah, if you ever wonder why Lego sets are so expensive nowadays, it's because of inflation and other factors like tariffs. So you have to keep in mind that every cent matters. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same reason why the 1:4 scale die-casts have increased in price, because of tariffs. Yeah, I do not want to go into politics or anything. I usually want to stay away from politics, but stuff gets more expensive because of tariffs. And if you buy foreign products and you have to pay the price, that's why I don't think tariffs are a good idea. But I'm not going to get into it that much, because I don't do politics. I don't like being a political person. Economy is a bit of a shake-up nowadays. Yeah, if I have to talk about politics again, I would scream my head off. Because I don't like getting into politics. Yeah, and some American products, like the iPhone for example, are actually made in China. They're not actually made in America. You have to do your research on it's actually considered American made or not. Yeah. Tech companies outsource production from outside factories. And that's because it's cheaper. to outsource tech rather than make your own factory. Let's see. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, it's part of the Game Boy. Anyways, let's see what's... Yeah, there is supposed to be a crevice there. Just checking. Make sure I check the instructions twice. Yeah, like this. Game Boy. Is probably the most one of the most iconic models, yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Game Boy. Yeah, the NES is a pretty iconic system. And yeah, while the Game Gear had color, the Game Boy still won in the end. Yeah. I think it was all down to the battery life. The Game Boy had really good battery life, especially the original model. Yeah, it had no backlight, but it meant that it drained the battery less. Although, you had to get a light if you wanted to play in the dark. Yeah, that's how it usually was back then. Yeah, chances are, if you had a Game Boy back then, you had to try to play in the dark. Because, well, if you were on a long car trip, there is something called a day and night cycle, and once it gets dark, if you don't have a light, then you're pretty much screwed. Yeah, it's the back of the Game Boy. Yeah. Not sure if be able to find PCBs for it that size. I'm sure you can, because Raspberry Pi motherboards do get pretty small. Yeah. This is for display purposes only. It's a collector set. Yeah, once you get it, you build it and then you display it. Or have it as a role-play item. Yeah, it would also be great as a prop. Bloop. Game Boy. And yeah, I'll bring out my OG Game Boy for size comparison, because believe it or not, I do own an OG Game Boy. don't use it that much anymore. And the contrast is kind of iffy on it. Because the problem with a lot of these older handhelds is that contrast doesn't work that well. Yeah, if you plan on using a Game Boy in the modern age, then you have to be aware of that. Or just get a Game Boy Color and play the games that way. Or Game Boy Advance. There's really a lot of options to play Game Boy games. Not to mention the Advance SP has a frontlit screen, at least early models did. I think they went towards the backlit screen. Yeah, that's when they started implementing light. Yeah, the Game Boy Light was made and did exist, but it was only made in Japan. We wouldn't get a light inside of the Game Boy until
You've got mail.
the SP. Yeah, and that was... Yeah, and the Game Boy Micro was the last of the Game Boy line. Yeah, bringing an end to the Game Boy's lineage. It's amazing how long the Game Boys lasted. Probably the longest lasting Nintendo name, unless Nintendo makes a Switch 3 and has it last into infinity. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the Game Boy is a pretty cool handheld. Yeah, the novelty of it was to be able to take it with you. That was a pretty big deal. Yeah. I think my brother, one of my brothers, won his in a contest. Yeah, it was definitely worth it to replace those beeping handhelds with this thing. Yeah, they have that Game Boy in the house. Yeah, it's the same unit that will be used for size comparison to the original unit itself. Since the whole point is to compare the size of the original Game Boy with the Lego Game Boy. That's how it usually works. Okay, let's see, where is that piece? There it is. Yeah. It's amazing how long the Game Boy line has lasted. Yeah, it lasted for 2 generations. I believe that. Yeah, it lasted until the DS line came out. And that had a bunch of different variations as well, including the DS Lite, DSi, and another part of the Nintendo Game Boy lineage, Nintendo handheld lineage, called the 3DS. Yeah. And then after that, Nintendo started making the hybrid console called the Switch, and pretty much abandoned their purpose-built handhelds and made the Switch the primary console for both markets, since Nintendo's handheld consoles were always outselling their home consoles. Well, aside from the Wii, which I'd like to see Lego make a version of, because the Nintendo Wii is a very iconic console. It's known for the the menu theme that's memed more times than you can possibly count. Yeah. Yeah, it's a song that gets stuck in your head all the time. Nintendo Game Boy. Here we go. I'm about to finish it. Well, at least finish this section of the video. There we go. Oops, we got a black piece. Look at that. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's the same process except on the other side. And if I have one thing to say about the GB, is that the GB paved the way for a lot of Nintendo's handhelds and a hybrid console that would soon take over both markets for Nintendo. Yeah, the handheld market was being dominated by Nintendo themselves, and Sony tried to have a crack at it, but they failed. Yeah, Sony tried to make the PSP, and, well, it did have some benefits like UMDs. It wasn't as successful as the DS. Anyways, that concludes this bit. Stay tuned for the next part. Here we go. Let's continue with the build. It's probably not the last of it. Yeah, we're on to bag number 3. It's amazing how long this set has taken me. Because you'd think it would take me a few seconds, but no. Well, up to, well, an hour, I mean to say, but no. It's taken me several days because of, well, you know. Alrighty, here we go. Okay. Now, where is it? It's supposed to be another green piece. Trying to look for it. Yeah, it might be in there. Of course, there's another bag I haven't opened yet. Yeah, I do like how every piece is colored like a circuit board. It adds a layer of coolness to this set. If you catch my drift. There we go. there's supposed to be another piece there. Alrighty, here we go. No. There we go. Sure are a lot of pieces. One. Let's see. Jeez. Found it. And keep in mind, while you do get spares for a lot of Lego pieces, you don't get spares for this one. And this piece can also easily snap off like nobody's business and could get lost. So the only way to get a replacement for it is, well, to go to the replacement parts and pieces page. Again, it relies heavily on this Lego page if you do lose a piece. It's because they don't give you any spares for that one piece, but they give you spares for a lot of pieces out there. Yeah. This is basically one big piece. Keep in mind. Yeah, printed on pieces. Yeah, I do like it when they have pieces that are printed on instead of making you use stickers. Alrighty, here we go. That's the bottom part. Now we got this piece to go in. Yeah, it's another basic red brick. Okay, where did it goes over there? It's supposed to keep it secure. Alright, next is this piece. Just be careful. You don't want to lose these pieces. Come on. It's Game Boy. Game Boy. Boo. Here we go. Oh, okay. What we got? The D-pad. Get the frick on there. There. Found that piece. And we might need it just in case. Anyways. Where's that ice blue piece? Have to be careful. Be careful. Because it can come loose any minute. Anyways, whoa. There's. Yeah, it functions like a D-pad. Now we got more of these pieces to deal with. Goody. this is where they put the buttons. Yeah, keep in mind there's only 2 buttons, just like the OG Game Boy. So it is at least accurate here. Can you believe that I almost got this thing done already? Yeesh. We got more circuit board gubbins to build. There we go. Come on, get on there, man. Yeah, and there's the rubber bands. That's what has that piece. It's one of the few pieces where you need rubber bands. And we got more pieces to put on. A. It's the A button.
There we go. Now we gotta put on this piece. Make sure it lines up. There we go. It's the Game Boy. But wait, there's more! Because we got another piece to deal with. There we go. Almost finished. Yeah, we're almost at the finish line here. Can you believe that? We're almost done. Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it? We got another one of these pieces to put on. Here we go. Yeah, slide them in. Slide them in. Amazing. Trying to figure out what those other pieces are in. Yeah, those stick things. Supposed to be in the GB itself. Yeah. Kind of figured. Yeah, I missed a piece. Mm-hmm. There. They're in there. What, too far ahead? So yeah. Only one bag to go. Here we go. Yeah, it's crazy that my nephew hasn't taken nearly as long to build the Game Boy as I have, but that's only because I've been, well, editing this video on an older computer. Yeah, I have to edit videos, and these videos take time. Anyways. Once I'm done with this clip, I'll be done with the video. This is the last of them. Here we go. Let's go. Yeah, this I can tell is the screen. Okay. Yeah, it won't take us that long. Of course, there's another set of pieces in there. supposed to go in the middle. There it is. Yeah, I do like these details. They're actually spot on with the Game Boy itself. Yeah, this time we'll add in those cream-colored pin pieces. And not forget about them. Alright, here we go. This could be it.
good. This is really good. There we go. Can you believe that this is the last of them? The last clip they have to make. There we go. Almost finished. Oh look, there's the battery lights. That's real cool.
There we go. Alrighty, here we go. Put the screen in place. You have to be careful it doesn't fall out. That's where these pieces come in. Oh, shoot. Come on, get in there. Oh. supposed to go in like this. Now I can situate the gear piece correctly. Okay. This contrast button, nice touch. Here we go. Almost there. Almost to the finish line. Yeah, we got another gear piece to put on. I do like how sets like these have that extra detail. Alright. Volume. And external connector. And there we go. And just like that, the Game Boy, the Lego Game Boy, is finished. And what's so cool about this is that you can pop off the battery cover, that piece, and put in the screen, and you can put in whatever you want to. Yeah, no, it's not functional, but there are mods out there where you can put together a functioning Lego Game Boy, so it's not all doom and gloom. Yeah, I do like the lenticular card. Now, what we gotta do is build the other cartridge. Yeah, and the stand for the GB itself. It has taken me a long time to get to this. That's basically the stand for the GB itself. And that's it. The other cartridge is going to be built. Dang it. Just keeps flopping around like that. Oh look, it has a battery backup battery. Just like the real Zelda cartridge. Which is a nice touch, if you ask me. Here we go. And there we go. that is that. Forgot one piece there. That is how you do it. Let's see it in action. Well, there it is, the Lego Game Boy. And yes, I even brought the original Game Boy for size comparison. Yeah, they're about the same size. This one that I have right there is missing the battery cover, by the way. And I even have a Game Boy cartridge to compare it with. Yeah, like the size comparison for the Lego Game Boy cartridges, well, are about nearly the same, although the Lego version's a bit thicker than the original. Yeah, this one's the Pokemon cartridge, by the way. Pokemon is a really popular game. Whoops, wrong one. Yeah, so I just brought the OG Game Boy for size comparison, and what's cool about this set is that you can actually take out the lenticular card and have it display gameplay if you want. So, like for instance, if I wanted to display Legend of Zelda, there you go. Just put that in there, just like so, and there you go. And yeah, it slots in there just like that, just like a real Game Boy cartridge, which is a nice touch. Yeah, and it does snap in. Yeah, and the buttons also work. Well, this one gets jammed. And it also has a D-pad and rubber pieces that are supposed to represent start and select. Although, I want to display Super Mario Land. So let's get that cartridge out of there and have it display Super Mario Land. Okay, here we go. And there you go, that's how you do it. Get the other cartridge off of there, off of the display. Because let's face it, most people usually display Zelda cartridges rather than play them. One of the games I want to get is the gold cartridge version of Ocarina of Time. I've always been after that one. Yeah, and put in the cartridge just like so. And there you go. Yeah, it's playing Super Mario Land. Yeah, and you can put the other lenticular pieces at the cart display. Yeah, so you can put in whatever cartridge you want. There's nothing really stopping you. Yeah, it's a really cool set. And if you can still get it, I highly recommend you to check it out. Yeah, it's definitely for people who can't display the Lego NES properly. And its size is actually faithful to the OG Game Boy, which is a nice touch. Yeah, and I always like it having displayed Super Mario Land. So yeah, an awesome set for gamers like me. Hopefully they'll come up with the Lego SNES or the Lego Nintendo 64. I'd love to see a Lego Nintendo 64. I'd love to see that replicated in Lego form. But anyways, this is the Bandito signing off. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell just in case I hadn't already done so. And this set gets a 9 out of 10 for me. Amazing. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.